What about Daniel Kerr, John?
Daniel, yeah, he's pushing to be fit.
You got anyone healthy?
Yeah, don't ask about those blokes.
And Shuey?
Yeah, sure, he's confident he'll be right, but he's got to prove it to us. You know, most players at this stage of the week say, I'll be right.
Anyone that you can declare right
now? Glass will be right.
But those blokes, you know, like Shuey, Kerr, Wellingham?
Not right now, no.
Ross, what do you make of West Coast's attacking offensive game, sort of take the game on approach that they've had in the last couple of weeks against good sides? Try and challenge your defensive game.
Yeah, look, I think they rank really highly. I'm just sort of finishing up our review. We've got a little bit more to tidy up yet, and I haven't watched the Eagles. Adelaide, I caught their last 6 minutes, which was fantastic. You know, Emily, great leadership and offensive spread. So I certainly need to get on the apple and have a really good look at them. And you know, clearly, when you look at the quality of the opposition they've played recently, you know, the Hawthorn was a great game, and Essendon and Adelaide, just from memory, they're playing some very good footy under some challenging circumstances, and you know, potentially some of their very best players to return. So from our end, we expect a really fierce and informed West Coast Eagles, and I think, like all teams, they start at the contest, and then we know their front half is pretty much all there. And they've had some challenges through the midfield and the back half that they seem to be coping with really, really well. So obviously, you know, headed by John and their coaching team and the player group have showed really good resolve. So from our end, we're under no illusion that we haven't been at our best the last couple of weeks because we've played good opposition, and we've got a really big challenge coming. I think we understand it's going to be tough.
How will you adjust the defence without Luke McFarlane?
Yeah, we'll have to slot one in. You know, we played without him in a final last year. We acknowledge it's a loss, but I can't get stuck on that. You know, we have to move on pretty quickly, and I probably, I mean, I can't preempt match committee, but the likelihood Alex Silvani will come in. We'll have a look at their lineup, and I am a little bit behind. But fortunately, I got plenty of time and plenty of hours to have a really good look at them yet. You know.
You mentioned the last couple of weeks you've been a bit flat. Is that down to the opposition or anything to do with your guys coming off the break?
Yeah, no, I think it's to the opposition. I think we played very well off the break against the Kangaroos. I thought it was one of our dominant performances of the year. And we went down and played a great team at the Cats and learn a lot. And then, you know, St Kilda really challenged us, but I thought we had a dominant second half. And but we know we're going to have to be better than that to get what we want on the weekend.
Is this one of the better Freo teams you've seen then in 19 years?
Yeah, oh, definitely they say that, yeah.
Why?
I mean,
just expand it.
well, the way they're performing. You know, their list is great. They're performing at an elite level consistently, and you know, in 2006 they had a wonderful year. But I think you know, the way they're going at the moment, they've got the potential to at least match that.
Ross, how much does the loss of McFarlane change your matchups? Did Dawson play on Kennedy last year?
Yeah, to be truthful, I can't remember. In all honesty, I can't remember. So that's why we do take notes and have a look at the tape, and yeah, but they're unique, you know. Nick Nat-Nui and Cox and Kennedy, and I think Lacra's in really good form. You know, I think most of them played round one. From memory, Johnson would have went to Darling. I think Dawson would have taken the rest of them ruckman. I think McFarlane would have been Kennedy, I would think. So, you know, we'll have to have a look at it. You know, it filters down pretty quickly though. I don't think there's a whole stack of options. You know, does Ibbotson play on Darling? 190, 191, those sort of things. So. And that's why the balance of the team, can we handle it without an Alex coming in? We'll look at that, you know.
How do you eliminate the effectiveness of Josh Kennedy? Obviously, you know,
yeah, as always, and I think what's really important, some of our defenders have had really good years, but it's based on, you know, we put a lot of pressure on up the field, so I think it doesn't matter who it is, if it walks out of your forward line and through the midfield, it's really hard to stop quality AFL forwards with quality delivery, so we'll have to put pressure on up the ground as always.
Whoosh, just tactically, what's the hardest thing about coming up against Fremantle?
it's always, tactically, it's looking at where their strengths are across the field. So, in a nutshell, it's scoring against them. You've got to score enough to win the game. So that's what we've got to challenge ourselves to do. But there's no scoring really well if you then leave gaping holes in your defence. So get the balance right, play good footy. So for us, tactically at the moment, it's a little bit about who we replace the guys going out of the lineup with, and how we use the guys who come into the lineup, who's available.
And Ross, just vice versa, up against the Eagles?
Yeah, we tend to plan the same way every week, you know, look, try and win the clearances and get first opportunity, and then if we don't, you know, who are their key, you know, ball carriers and go-to people. So they're the sort of things we look at, but it doesn't change dramatically from week to week. And from our end, we just want to really bring some great effort and consistent effort, because without that, you know, everyone likes to talk about tactics and strategies, but at the end of the day, football matches are won by men, you know, who give great effort. So that would be our focus, you know.
Ross, you know, if you know, it looked like the change rooms are flooded as well.
Yeah, I saw a shot come through. They're flooded, so we got an email through. They're shampooing them as we speak, and got the blow dryer out. So didn't get into the meeting room. You know, hopefully I'm sure the stadium management will take care of that. But yeah, it's not ideal, but we'll deal with it. You know.
Ross, St Kilda a few times last week got clean takeaways from centre square stoppages. Was that a case of your midfielders having to get used to Aaron and the way he runs?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think the chemistry changed in there, and they just need to build on that a little bit. We're a bit like a squeaky door, a little bit rusty.
They're trying to sneak out, mate.
That's Aaron bending down, is it?
Yeah, they were really good, and I think it's a really good observation. We need to get a bit more chemistry there. Yeah.
And Ross, we touched on the potential of perhaps a Derby final. I know a lot of fans would love to see it as well, but from a Fremantle perspective, would you rather take on somebody interstate and have that home ground that's 5th or 6th or whatever?
That wouldn't be a hypothetical, would it? You know how I deal with them. I don't answer them. I'm squarely focused on this week's Derby. It's a big enough challenge. I think if we get to that bridge, we'll worry about crossing it then, you know. But it'd be an exciting prospect for the town, wouldn't it? But
Ross, Michael Johnson's had another really good game at the weekend. Does he have to step up now with Luke falling out in terms of leadership down there?
I'm not sure he can step up much more. He's going. In terms of leadership, yeah, I think he needs to fill that space. Yeah, there's no doubt. Everyone across the board, Luke's one of our valued leaders, and Michael has been really good. But I think it's more than Michael. I think everyone, you know, particularly in the back 6 or 7, need to fill that space. Yep.
Were you about to indicate though that I thought you were about to say he couldn't go much better as a player? Has he had?
No, assumptions are dangerous. I just think he's played very well. And Paul Roos is a good friend of mine, and he just thought you become a great player when you just stack 7s and 7s and 6s and 8s. It's not about looking for 10 out of 10 games. The great players, you know, talking about Brett Heady and Dean Kemp, they just stack 6s, 7s, 8s. They don't drop the 4s, and I think if you're talking about Michael, where's he improved? From my view, he no longer drops to a level of below acceptable. That's why I think we're recognising him as being a leader and playing good football.